Hello, I'm Henry, aka Henners. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, classical musician, and massive Eurovision fan, and I've been reacting to the Eurovision 2026 entries as they're announced and released. It's time for Serbia today, my last Super Saturday reaction. I have heard nothing of this song. Usually I hear like snippets of the national finals and get to kind of know the basic gist of it, but like I'm going in completely blind to this one, so that's exciting. I think it's going to be a kind of rocky, edgy song. I don't know what PZ was like this year, because I know last year there was obviously a lot of controversy. I don't really know the specifics, so I'm not going to go too much into detail.
I don't know what I'm talking about, and I never have. I never really have.
I know maybe with the broadcaster there's some kind of government influence, and I know like the creative director or some kind of director was fired or let go for letting the acts protest against it, because the acts were bound by a contract, so they couldn't withdraw from the national final. So I don't know if this year the participants were more willing to participate despite the government stuff. I don't really know. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to offend anyone. Serbia obviously unfortunately broke their qualification streak last year, and I think maybe that was a bit of a result of the questionable things going on with the broadcaster, so I don't know what direction we're going in this year, if they can resurrect that streak or not. So I'm just going to get on with the reaction because I'm intrigued. It's Lavina, who are a band I assume, with Kraj, Mene? I'm not too sure how you pronounce this. You'll have to let me know. I'm sure I will learn how to pronounce it by the end of the season. This is the national final performance. Ooh, what is that? Oh, that's kind of terrifying. Is that some kind of bird claw, or is it a head? Oh, very mystical, dark opening. Can't work out where we're going rhythmically. Got these dark, low piano chords. Oh, a sword. Oh, very atmospheric, really cool. Quite expressive, like almost like whiny in a good way, kind of vocal. Adding this vocal fry. Oh my gosh, that's a mic stand. That is so cool. Wow. Okay, obviously that was very dark and quite slow. I think we're in A flat minor, which is quite a unique key to be in. Obviously dark and quite slow, but you could tell we were building to something. It didn't necessarily build to it, it just suddenly dropped into the chorus as he let his cape down, which I thought was really cool and effective. Obviously quite standard rock setup in terms of instrumentation. So we've got these high backing vocals, but he's doing the lower. So we've got almost choral, but he's doing he's quite low, adding a bit of distortion into his voice. Quite perpetual motion. I like that little transition back into the verse. Quite sparse instrumentation, just these dark, low piano chords and the percussion is quite reverby. Quite slow tempo, feels almost quite mournful. And then rocking out in the back. So he's a lot higher now. Slightly more belted range. There we go. Metal scream. Wow, a long one. Love the edge. Love how bold that is. Obviously, it's quite a niche and divisive thing, that kind of scream, distorted sound within a song. I assume he probably has some kind of scream coach and knows how to do that healthily. does feel very kind of mournful of something. I'm excited to read the lyrics, which I'll do after I finish watching. Good fill. And now we're doing the chorus again in that scream. We've got this other vocalist doing the actual melody. Okay, I really like how that's kind of developed. So these higher backing vocals are going on throughout every chorus. The first one, he was singing quite low in like a more spoken kind of range, and then kind of went up the octave, more belted, and then for the last one, it's kind of even higher, got this screaming, and then the other guy's doing the lower vocal. So I like the way that each one's a bit different. Oh, now the sword's on fire. Very talented vocalist. Like there was a split second of silence there. I was like, are we gonna clap? Oh, really cool. Really edgy, really interesting. Be interesting to know what I know the Eurovision community tends to favour maybe more boppy songs, so I don't know how they'll react to this, but yeah, I love the edge, love the boldness and uniqueness. So I'm going to look at the lyrics. Next to me, this translates to in English, it took so long for me to sink into the arms of a mean old habit. For me to sink into the arms. It took so long to come into the habit, or you opened your heart, you gave it away in vain, only for me to crush it out of carelessness. Okay, well this is quite an interesting take. So I guess it's kind of breakup, ending of a relationship, but the narrator of the song is self-aware that he's actually been the cause of the heartbreak of the other person. Often breakup songs are like, oh no, look at what you did to me, you did, I hate you, blah 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 blah, which valid. Different situations require different ways of like coping with it, but this way he's quite self-aware, or maybe, I don't know, he's really blaming himself for this. How can I show you that I care? Of course, sooner or later I'll destroy everything. Also, start really self-deprecating, just hatred for himself, which is quite sad. I'm still keeping a place for you beside me, but this one-sided love is killing me. Don't you see how much I'm breaking? The more I give, the less I have you. Okay, so maybe it's just a whole one-sided thing, and this other person's not invested in the way he is, so he's kind of blaming himself for that, maybe, kind of. Why do you look down on me from above while I call out into the void? Is a spiritual, maybe? Looking down from me above, and he did kind of look up, so I don't know if actually maybe this is his relationship with some kind of divine power? It could be. That would be interesting. Or is it somebody who's passed away, possibly? One-sided love, because obviously it's harder to connect with someone once they've left. I don't know, I feel like there could be many interpretations of this. Some kind of relationship with someone. I can't go on for like this much longer. To crawl and pray and bow down. You were here when it was easy, while you thought I was perfect. I don't know, so this could be relationship, like love world. Could be relationship with some kind of divine power, or someone who's passed away. I don't know. If you know the specifics, please let me know in the comments. But lots to digest and analyse there. Quite a complex sort of commentary on this relationship. A lot to analyse, so it'll be interesting to hear other opinions. So, do I think Serbia will qualify with this? Well, it definitely is novelty and stands out. So I'm not mad at their chances to qualify. Obviously, like I said before, they did unfortunately break their qualification streak. They are kind of final bosses at like dark pop entries. Well, this wasn't pop, but Serbian artists really know how to do the dark, eerie, more gothic vibe. Seems to be Serbia's current identity in the contest, which is really interesting. I think this really obviously targets a niche with the televote, a bit like Lithuania did last year. So I do think they could pick up quite a good hefty televote there, 60 and above, at least I'm kind of thinking, maybe possibly, especially as they've got obviously voting neighbours, Croatia and Montenegro are voting in this semi-final. So that's kind of a guaranteed 24 points from the audience already, plus I'm sure they'll pick up many others from other countries in the semi-final. Jury, I'm inclined to say they'd sort of do it a bit dirty, but still give it a few points here and there, like they do tend to with more edgy, rockier entries. But I have more hope because we now have younger jurors in the juries. So I think it has an even stronger chance to not completely flop with the juries, even if it only gets like 30, 40 odd points from the jury in the semi-final, if it's picked up like 70 points at least from the public, then that's enough to squeeze in to like 8th, 9th place in the final, semi-final, I think. So yeah, I think this is for a strong chance of qualification. It's hard to know until all the entries are out, I think, so I feel like I predicted most of these entries to qualify. Maybe it's a slight recency bias, looking in hindsight, maybe, I don't know. Maybe my opinion will change there once all the entries are out and I'm kind of looking at a bird's eye view of all the entries together, but I'm thinking this is in for a chance, a good chance. And then if it made it to the final, a similar thing, I predict it could come around 15th to 18th, 19th maybe, because it will pick up a good televote targeting a more niche audience who appreciate this kind of music, and then a few juries maybe more from the Balkan area, like with Montenegro we'll get a few points, maybe like 20, 30, 40 odd points from the jury. So I think this will get a decent mid-table result if it makes it to the final. Okay, so if I was a juror, this is how I'd be ranking this against the jury assessment criteria. I give it an 8 for composition. A lot of the chords and actual structure of the song was quite simple. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it worked really well. But despite the simple structure, like I said, as it got to each chorus, there was like an extra element and layer that developed, and the verse-chorus contrast from being quite sparse to more maximalist rock was really interesting. And then obviously some quite complex, introspective, unique lyricism where it's quite multi-dimensional and there's a lot to dissect. Vocal capacity of artist, a 9. Very good command of that scream range displayed, like I said, with each chorus exploring a different range of his voice. Performance on stage, an 8. Good moody vibe. They were all kind of really into the performance. Love the sword mic stand, love their outfits and simple LEDs, but I think it really created a good mood, and I'm sure it'll be amplified further for Vienna. My overall impression, a 7, kind of based on my personal music taste and how much I enjoyed it. So a total of 32 out of 40, which is great for Serbia, and I hope jurors can appreciate, even if this isn't their cup of tea, that objectively composition-wise and vocal-wise there is a lot of intrigue and complexity if you kind of dig a bit deeper into it. So that was my first initial reaction to Serbia's Kraj, Mene by Lavina. If you've got any more info or insight that you'd like to share with me in the comments, please do. I'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video and want to see my reactions to the other entries, they are all out on my YouTube in a playlist. I probably had to make some cuts and edits and changes, but the full extended reaction of this video, along with all the other ones I've done, are over on our Patreon, which you can go and support me on too. Or if you'd just like to make a one-off donation to keep this channel going, you can do so on Buy Me a Coffee. My socials are Henry Lux Music if you want to follow me, and you can stream my music too. I have a song called Chamomile coming out on March the 12th if you're interested. But thank you so much for clicking on this video and for being here. I'm really grateful for that and for your support, and I'll hopefully see you in another video soon. Goodbye.